what's in there. What is this? Huh. Interesting. What I got here are obviously 2.5 inch diameter 100 cell racing catalytic converters. X-Force is the brand or manufacturer. I figured to get some cats because I'm not going to tune the car. Not going to bother with that kind of stuff. Plus, no cats is a mixed bag. I would like to get rid of the smell at least a bit, and at least make the car have some sort of back pressure because my low RPM torque is just bad. My launches are bad. So I'm hoping with this, along with other goodies, because there's actually 2 more pieces I need next before I do the exhaust. And I'm hoping these not only give me back some power, but make the car sound better too, like capture whatever rasp or change the tone. However, hopefully it's just an improvement in sound quality as well, but we shall see. All right, not 1, but 2 of these stamped X pipes made from Jones exhaust. Pretty good reviews from what I've read online. Now you're probably wondering, why do you have 2? Well, the car does have one, but it's welded. You know, it's when it's cut and welded, you know, custom. Well, this one, it's already an X pipe. It's stamped, a little bit of a different design. Not too expensive, but the reason why I got 2 is because, all right, look, I got those headers, right? And those high flow cats. Well, I did research on the double X pipe. It's not a very common thing. People even do triple X pipe. But what this one's supposed to do is to help with the drone inside the car because it is ridiculous inside. So I would like that to be toned down. Plus, it gives a little bit of back pressure to the car because I don't have mufflers going on, right? So I kind of want some back pressure to make the car run maybe quicker in the low RPMs or something. Hopefully I get something out of it. And 3 will be, you know, the tone or the sound of the car. I don't think it's going to do anything in terms of volume, but at least the tone will be a little bit more unique and different than opposed to having 1 X pipe, right? So that's what I'm expecting with those headers and those cats and these, and I'm keeping the Outlaws and the tips in the rear. So what I'm expecting in this car with that new exhaust, it's going to sound incredible. It sounds wild right now, but I know it can sound better, and that's what I'm trying to do with this. So right here I have outlined where I'm going to cut this part of the frame so I can get to the fuel pump, because on these cars and along with the CTSV and others, the fuel pump is right here by the passenger side, but you can't get to it because there's no latch. So they had to drop the rear frame, the axle, the gas tank, and all that stuff, which is a lot of work and a lot of time. So to not spend 5-6 hours on that and go ahead and cut this in like 10-15 minutes, and there's your fuel pump. Plus it'll be a lot easier to replace in the future. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drill a small hole, find a starting point somewhere, and I'm gonna drill it to a 3/8, make it big so I can fit my metal nibbler tools there, so I can go ahead and cut neatly and, you know, carefully. You can use like a saw or something or whatever, but the fuel lines are really close to the frame, and I'm not trying to nick it and then give myself a bigger problem. I already had them replaced before. I'm not going to do it again. That was because of a rat chewed on it. What luck is that? So yeah, let's get to it. Oh yeah, I'll talk about that later. All right, little update. It's going out rather okay. I had to use up metal pliers. I had to get my little snips here to get some tight spots going. The fuel lines are really close, but no damage from the nibblers. If anything, you're just going to be like pushing against it. I use my little metal punch here to kind of gently push away the fuel line on this side, and there's one on this side, but I'm gonna wait until I get over here as I cut so I can move it out of the way a lot easier. But yeah, the fuel line is really close, but just take your time. If you're going to cut it like this, or if you're going to do another way, just be very cautious. Where I started right here with this hole, it didn't hit nothing. The connector was right here, but it was pretty deep enough where my bit wouldn't do any damage. Now when you do it from the front, the fuel pump is right in the middle, a big old cap, and then there's a wire here and a connector there and whatnot, so you just got to be very careful. All right, so it is cut. I got a little stupid on this side because the nibbler was being blocked by the gas tank. I can cut a little bit more up here and a little bit right here. Well, actually I will, but I'm not gonna do that today, so that way I can have more access to the fuel pump itself. But it's cut. I just got to find something to cover it with now. So with that being done, the next thing will be the dash center thing, whatever you call it. So there's going to be no screen. I already removed the bottom piece here. That's going to be something else. I'll show you what I'm doing right now. But yeah, not the prettiest thing in the world. As for the fuel pump hole, side to side is 8.5 inches. Top to bottom is 11.5 inches. And it came out pretty good. The best I could, really. I have this little rubber seal covering the edges. It is non-flammable, so that's good. And in the meantime, I have this temporary cover, so whenever I park the car, I just put this on top to cover the fuel pump and the lines away from the sun and whatnot. I do have an actual cover on its way right now. That way, I don't have to keep doing this. And the actual cover, I'll figure out a way to put it on permanently. Not permanently, but that way it doesn't move around and rattle and stuff. That way it looks good, and when it's time to replace, just pop it open and there it is. So, yes sir. Alrighty, so I got the headers looking pretty good, all cleaned up using this stuff right here to get rid of the, the grease, the oils, the dirt, all that stuff. So that way these are ready to be coated. I'm going to coat the inside and the outside of these headers so that way they'll be protected, looking good, and not rust out and all that stuff, because this is stainless steel, it's raw, and I don't think it's going to last by itself. So for the outside, I have this right here. I have the primer. I have a flat aluminum is the color of the coating. There is a clear finish, a clear coat, but I don't think I need that. That's more for like motorcycles or something that's more exposed. And yeah, so that'll be on the outside. It'll look really nice. As for the inside, I have some internal coating on its way from the mail, and I will show you when it gets here. Huh. I wonder what that is. Got some primer on the headers. Gonna coat it tomorrow. But let's see what this is. Oh. Is it what I think it is? Ah, okay. So this right here is the front bumper that I've wanted back in 2019. But the reason why I didn't get it was because it was out of stock or it was too expensive. So I got the regular bumper. The reason why I wanted this one was because it has the headlamp washer cutouts. My car doesn't have that. So I figured, or came up with, is to get this bumper and to cut this out, make it a nice clean hole. And just like my fenders, put a mesh grill behind it. That way I can have two little vents for the engine bay for more air to come in and come out. A little creative, kind of different. I gave that idea to two people with their STSs, and they've done it, and it came out really good for them. So I kind of thought, hey, I'm going to wrap the car. Let me go ahead and look for this bumper again on eBay or something for a good price. And sure enough, I got a good deal, and it's now in the garage. So I'm really excited. And not only that, my current bumper is kind of, it's trash. Okay, you'll see why in a minute. But now that I have the bumper here in the flesh, I'm going to go ahead and measure the width and the curvature so I can get the best fitting front splitter. I'm not going to do a 3-piece universal, none of that cheap crap. I just want to see what splitters are out there. Maybe it's for a Mustang or a Hellcat or something very similar in size. So that way I can go ahead and get the splitter on, make it look awesome. Go ahead and drill the hole for the quick release. And of course the vents, and I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna take the bumper off and do some stuff with onto the car with the bumper off. So it's gonna be really cool. Can't wait. Oh yeah, let's get to it. All right, the headers came out really good. The primer went on just fine, no problems there, and I used the entire can. And again, used the entire can of the coating itself. And wow, it came out really good. It makes the headers pop out a lot more than just being raw stainless steel. It just gives off the welds and the shape of the headers a lot more, and I just like how it turned out. So when I was, painting or coating them, I did cover off this part right here and the O2 sensor thing, and this part right here that goes onto the engine. It looks really cool. So what I'm gonna do next is do the internal coating inside of the headers. As for the bumper, it came out pretty good for this right here. I gotta clean it up a lot more. I just need the right sandpaper because it looks kind of rough, but it came out pretty good. I got the measurements of the bumper, so I went ahead and ordered the splitter tonight, and it's going to be really cool when I do get it. And yeah, making some moves. Man, look at that. Exciting. All right, so I got the inside of these headers nice and clean. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the internal exhaust coating using this can here. Just like it says, it reduces temperatures, prevents corrosion and all that stuff. And it has this neat little extension tube to put inside the headers. It'll be a lot easier, especially with long tube headers. But with shorties, regardless, it's going to be needed. But the thing is, I didn't really see anything on the website or on this can saying, oh, after you spray, it doesn't say if you got to coat it like paint, like it tells you to do 2 coats, 3 coats, and wait an hour. This one doesn't say anything. You just pretty much spray it, and I'm guessing you probably wait at best like 2-3 days before you put it on the exhaust. But I may be wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick, and yeah. All right, so the inside of the headers are now coated. Could have been done a little better. I'm not gonna complain. The most important thing is these things are now protected from the inside and outside. The thing is, when I was applying the internal coating, it was pretty runny. It was like a liquid metal, it had a strong smell, and it was a little messy. So it was leaking out from here, and leaked onto the mounting face here. So I had to clean that up, and I was having a bad time just on that part. But it did come out pretty good. It's nice and smooth. And the most important thing is it's now protected from the inside. I did get some splatter on the outside, so I'm gonna have to touch up the external coating tomorrow. But other than that, these headers are ready to rock. Tomorrow morning, all of this right here will be installed on the car. So you have the double X pipes, the 100 cell high flow cats, the Camaro gaskets for the headers, and of course the Camaro V6 short tube headers, along with these V-band clips that came with them. I'm very curious on how this setup will be. Don't forget, I'm also keeping my Flowmaster Outlaw mufflers and the 4-inch tips in the rear. I'm not going to change that. I'm going to keep it. I kind of have a feeling that does something with the tone, not necessarily in terms of volume control. It's the sound right now, in my opinion, for the last almost 3 years, I had this car in this sound. It's just raw. It's really loud. It's ridiculous. I love it. It's crisp. It's very just out there. It's straight piped, really, but good. I have heard other straight pipe cars and they sound like crap. This one, I don't know what it is. So what I'm expecting with this, my guess is that it's going to be a very similar sound, but smoother, either just as loud or even louder. I'll be really surprised if it's louder. I don't know what to say, but I'm expecting just maybe a deeper tone. Who knows? Or a higher pitched tone. I don't know, but we'll find out. Let's get to it. Okay, so it looks pretty scary because the shop had to do adjustments to the header and to the steering shaft, because with this Camaro V6 short tube header from JBA Racing, the way the pipes bend on the driver's side, the passenger side went on really good. No problems there. As for the driver's side, it was touching, well, yes, the steering shaft bolt that connects to the rack companion, when you steer your car, it was touching the header. So it was literally blocking it, so you couldn't steer the car. So the shop had to do some adjustments, although it doesn't look the prettiest, but there is now clearance for the steering shaft on the car, so I'm able to steer again. But everything came out good. Otherwise, the cast, the O2 sensors, the X pipes, and the rear. Now the rear sits beautiful, or before it was kind of retarded. Now they poke just the way I want it, and it's even. It's not hanging low like before, so I'm not going to be scraping on speed bumps or whatever. So that's cool. Again, the sound is very similar. I noticed it's a little quieter and it's a little smoother, but the pipes are fresh, headers are fresh, everything's got to burn in and driving around for 1,000 miles before the real sound kicks in. Plus, I don't know, man, but that is a bummer. But don't forget, there's no headers made for this car, so I can't really complain. It was pretty much a risk, just like how the harness bar was a risk, just like how the lowering springs was a risk. Everything I did to this car is nothing but a risk. It's either it works, make it work, or it just doesn't work. And in this case, make it work. But yeah, I'm not for perfection. If you want to have perfection, stick with the CTSV, because personally, I wouldn't even get one of those things. I mean, maybe I would, but who knows? But my main concern is it runs, and my main concern is it sounds pretty cool. Woo, yeah, all right, let's get home. Okay, so it's very similar, obviously, if you've been listening to this car for a long time now, for the past 3 years. It's smoother. The rasp is, you know what? I'm just gonna drive. But I'm gonna drive a little obnoxious. Just bring it up a little higher than usual. You'll see what I mean. It is a little, okay, it's not raspy, but it's brappy. It's a little choppy. I don't know if you caught that, but it's not like a VQ kind of choppy, but it's still there. So I'm hoping that kind of goes away as I keep driving. But overall, the sound's not too bad. But I'm not going to floor it probably for another day or two. Then I'll do a full acceleration, see how that goes. But yeah. All right, bring it into third. Woo! All right, not too bad. Traction control back on. Holy crap, that was freaking damn. All right, so that was very similar to before, but it sounded more refined. I gotta play that again. That was incredible. Holy crap. After many attempts, I finally got it right. The correct size and shape for these little vents I'm putting on the headlamp washer holes. The only thing is, you know the vents on my fenders, they're from the inside. I've used this stuff right here, Amazing Goop. It's like this thick, clear adhesive plus 3M tape on the edges of the vents. That way the whole thing, you know, stays in place. It's never came off, it's never gotten loose, and it's still on the car just fine. The only thing is, I'm not doing that with this because it goes in from the outside. And I don't have a lot of room for that, you know, Amazing Goop to, you know, get in there. It's pretty thick. It's gonna be pretty tricky to get it on there, and it's gonna be messy. And I can't use 3M tape because it's gonna look really bad. So what I'm gonna have to do is find a similar adhesive, maybe even stronger, with those fine point, you know, tips where I can get like a thin line going on and go ahead and stick this bad boy on, and it's good to go. Plus, when it comes to the vinyl wrap, there's still room to tuck in the wrap inside the little edges here, the inner edge, and it's gonna look really good in the long run. So, real exciting. Let's get to it. Let's see something here. Good Lord. Woo! Okay. Now, to answer your question, is the car a little quicker? I can agree. This thing is a little quicker. All right, so you can see the shaft here, it was touching the header, and the header does have a small dent in it already. That was what the shop guys did to make some clearance, but it's not enough. So what I did, I went ahead and filed down or shaved down the little parts of the shaft that was touching the header. So it's part of the intermediate shaft, like the lower point that connects to the lower part of the shaft that goes into the rack and pinion. It's just this little part right here. So as I turn the shaft, because the wheels are both off the ground, you know, I did shave down the parts. Should be enough clearance barely just now, or it'll probably rub just barely. So it's still an improvement, I hope. And yeah, I'm also gonna put some this stuff right here. Hopefully that works, maybe, I don't know. It's worth a shot. Since I'm down here, let me see if I can zoom out. Oh my God, I'm in such a bad angle. You can see the double X pipe, 2.5 inch pipe still. I got the cats, all nice and gold now instead of silver. Pretty cool. Can't really see the header, can you? No. Cool. All right, let me just finish this up. All right, so what I got going on here is a splitter from a 2015 through 17 Ford Mustang GT. Now the reason why I got this particular splitter is because the bumper on this car I measured about, actually it's a total of 72 inches, wide, but for the splitter all I needed was about 68.5 or 69. Thing is, I couldn't find any splitters that are one piece that were like 70 inches or 71 inches or even 69. This is the widest one I can find for a good price, because all the bigger, more aggressive, crazier ones made of carbon fiber and stuff, they're like in the low couple $100s. I'm not going to spend that much for a dumb splitter, but I'm not going to go spend 50 bucks for like a 3-piece, overlap, cheap, ugly, short splitter, So I got this one because it has little fins on the side. I like that. The thing is, as you can see, it's touching the bumper. Don't forget, the bumper is off the car. So naturally, because it's plastic, it's going to be, more outwards at the end. So when I put it on correctly on the car, because right now the current bumper is kind of gay, it's kind of stupid. It's not, on correctly. It's just on there, like just to be on there. But once I remove that and replace it with this, I'm gonna put this on like how it should be, nice and tight, not like shaking and not all dumb, and have these sides a little bit more tucked in better, so that way this won't be touching the bumper and won't be rubbing against the wrap. Plus, it's just going to look really good. I know it looks kind of aggressive the way it pokes out, but once it's on the car wrapped, it's just going to it's going to look good. I can't wait. I mean, just looking at it like this is really cool. I know it's primed right now, so I'm going to go ahead and paint it a gloss black, or maybe a semi-gloss, a satin finish. I'm not too sure. I kind of like the way it looks right now. But man, it's really exciting. Can't wait. Oh, one more thing. On the STS, on the front bumper, there's like this weird little plastic thing. It's for the stock, like wind guard, that little thing. I'll show you a picture. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have a use for that, obviously. And it's in the way of the splitter. So I'm gonna have to cut that little piece of plastic off. It's really easy. Just, use a little bit of a metal snips, because I can like fit it in there and just cut the plastic like really quickly. That way the splitter just sits flush with the bumper. And yeah, looks really, really cool. Let's get to it, fellas. So that is going to be the shifter from now on. Yeah, it looks all right. Pretty hot outside. I'm doing this right here for the wheel wells, fender liners under here. It's undercoating. It's like this rubberized paint, and I did this side. It's still in progress, but it's coming out really, really good. I did the other side, and instead of painting it with regular paint, that's great and all, but it will fade and it'll just bring me back to square one. So it came out really, really good. It's not shiny. It's like a nice, it has a nice texture to it. Protects it from rocks and stuff like that. If I go to the fronts, which I haven't done yet, you can see that they're faded. I did clean them up the best I could with degreaser, but it's still pretty faded, it's still ugly, and I just want to make it look nice. Because once the car is wrapped, the thing that's going to stick out, other than the dull headlights I have, the wheel wells, because they were like a brown, they were just, they just really stood out if you looked under. So with this stuff right here, it's only like 10 bucks or 11 bucks for a can. I need another one. And it's coming out really good. Of course, covers some stuff up, but yeah, little things like that. And I'm cleaning the wheels after like 2 years. They were all brown inside. It was gross. So I'm cleaning those up. I'm finally getting rid of the dents on the car. There's two major ones, the one right here and the one over here. They've been on the car ever since I bought it 5 years ago, and I never bothered to fix it because at the time I was very indecisive if I wanted to paint it, wrap it, yada yada yada. Well, I'm gonna wrap it, and I don't want the wrap to, you know, go with the dent. I want the dent out. I want this flush looking good. So I went ahead and did sand it down. I got just regular Bondo fill, you know, pretty strong stuff. It smells. It's really quick too. You got to be really fast with this stuff. Not letting that dry. Then I'm gonna go ahead and sand it, and I got a temporary paint because I'm not just gonna leave it gray. I want to protect the fill as well, you know. So I just have this GM red. I don't think it's the right red, but it's close enough. But who cares? It's gonna be wrapped. Real exciting, but yeah, let me just get a better shot. Just let you guys know how. Yeah. All right. Well, I did my best. So there's that side. It is now done. I know the red's not the same, but again, that's temporary. Just that way it's painted for now, so that way there's something for the wrap to stick on rather than the actual Bondo itself. This came out pretty decent. I had to sand down a little bit of the raised paint, you know, the little lines from the masking tape, so that's nice and smooth. And I'll take that over what I had before, so that's cool. With the Impala spoiler technically not fitting the car, even though it does, but I had to cause some mayhem here to get the screws on. And what I'm gonna do, instead of using these short little screws that I risk of falling inside the trunk, and that's a no-no, I went ahead and got these M6 by 25 millimeter studs, so that way it threads into the spoiler, and I have enough room to throw a nut on there to secure it a lot more better than what I got going on right there with just a single screw. Well, not single, but the other one is behind here, and to get to that you got to take the actual hinge off the trunk, and that sucks. Disgusting. Absolutely foul. Ew. Whoa, what's going on over here? So the splitter is now bolted on, not screwed, not taped, not glued, simply bolted. You know, bolt and nut. So those are good to go. And I got these right here, the splitter support rods or bars, and it looks pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. So what I'm gonna do is obviously do the obvious, swap bumpers. But before I do all that, those two grills, they got to be repainted. I got to do some other stuff behind the bumper, and it's gonna be really exciting. Let's get to it. Here it is. I finally got the entire car wrapped. It feels unreal. Finally, after all these years, all that hard work and effort and all that stuff I was doing to this car inside and out, top, bottom, front, back, you name it. And it's just insane and how it turned out. All right, so the color I chose was an Avery Dennison metallic fun purple, or gloss fun purple. It's either or. It's something gloss metallic. I think it's those two together. But either way, it's not red. It wasn't that 3M Cinder Spark red I wanted originally. So I was looking around because I wanted a burgundy color, but I didn't want nothing dark, like, you know, like a dark brown or too orange or too red or too bright. So I ended up with this, and dude, that splitter, man. In the next video, I will do something about this right here. Because of that splitter, I am unable to put the blinker and fog light assembly back on. So I'll do something about that in the next video. As you can see, the grills right here on the bumper where the headlight washers were supposed to be, air goes inside. You know what? Let me open the hood real quick. Show you what I'm talking about. So, not only that, but I got some heat wrap for the intake here, and it does work. I noticed a small difference in the car when it idles and when I take off and stuff like that. It does help a little bit. Doesn't look as pretty as I thought it'd be, but it works. As I was saying about this hole, it goes straight into the air filter, so that's pretty cool. And right here, again, just more airflow into the engine bay and more heat out. So something small like that is pretty cool. You know, it's nothing groundbreaking or crazy gains, but you know, but as the fenders, I mean, it's crazy not seeing them all ugly anymore. This really pops out now. I mean, the doors look good. Damn. You know, my dents are gone, sort of. They're not there no more. I got the bumper looking good. Dude, insanity. A little dirty back here. Over on this side, it just makes the wheels pop out more. It makes the white mirrors pop out more. The white trim, it's just, man, incredible. The only thing that is a little standing out to me would be the headlights. I'm gonna do that in the next video, and that's gonna be pretty cool on that. So, wow. I don't know what to think. I mean, I'm very, very happy how everything I've done has finally paid off. Looking incredible. This is so badass to think that it's my car. It's my first car. 5 years, over 5 years now. It's gonna be a hot summer. And I wanna thank everybody that's been watching my videos. I hope I helped you guys out with my ideas, helping you guys out and stuff like that, and advice on Instagram, and it's just gonna keep on going from here. I'm not gonna stop. Just because it's wrapped doesn't mean I'm gonna stop. There's gonna be more stuff to do to the car, but this was the biggest thing I've ever wanted to do, and it is finally here. Insanity. Thank you guys so much for the support, and there's gonna be more videos coming later. Peace out.